Saturday night here in Corpus Christi, and we go over to take a look at things from the other side in the other radio booth, and are joined by Michael Coffin, the voice of the Corpus Christi Hooks. Michael, last night we were treated to an extra early fireworks show from Domingo Santana. Always had that great power, and boy, did we see it in full force last night.
Well, we did, and he's trying to make that adjustment to TripleA, and hopefully, at least for the Hooks, that everything kind of fell into place for him. But one of those magical nights, and his 3 home runs, a career record here for the Hooks. No Hook has done that. 5 home runs in the entire ball game, one shy of the club record. So a big night, but a big night for Domingo. It's nice to see his bat kind of come around. Was on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. Since then, is at 5 home runs. Was activated actually in Frisco against you guys. And he's going to be a critical part if the Hooks can keep this run going. George Springer, one of the best hitters in the minor leagues, needs some protection, and certainly Keith Bodie hopes that Domingo can provide that.
Well, he certainly provided it last night. The Springer hasn't really done a whole lot this series, but Santana certainly has picked up the slack. Reading in the paper and just from talking to you guys and seeing with my own eyes, the offensive adjustments needed to be made, and this team had lost a couple in a row. It seemed like that was a major point of emphasis from the coaching staff in developing some approaches up there offensively, a team that strikes out a lot. Obviously, that was front and center last night. Did you see a difference, seeing as that you've seen this team every single game?
Well, I did. I think the biggest difference when this club is doing well offensively and when it's not about the strikeouts. It's about what it does in key situations. And, as a team, the Hooks are struggling with guys in scoring position, guys at third base and less than 2 outs. And when you see a strikeout, then it kills you. But a guy like Springer has a lot of strikeouts, but he's also driving in the ball quite a bit. And so you'll take the strikeouts, but it's about where those happen. And I think you hit on it. Just a lot of young guys, from Eric Castro, Enrique Hernandez, Gio Meyer. These are guys trying to make the jump. And at least in Castro's case, he has that record of producing runs, of hitting the ball at the ballpark in the California League. Sometimes that doesn't always translate, but he's a guy that it looks like things are kind of starting to come together as well, along with Domingo. So it's a matter of trying to develop these young hitters, and the Hooks are very fortunate that this pitching staff is able to carry the banner while those guys are doing that.
I want to ask you a little bit more about Springer, obviously leading all of minor league baseball in home runs and tops in the league and runs batted in. I talked to Steve Buechele a couple weeks ago about what he thinks of Springer, and obviously he had very complimentary things to say. He said he also plays a little bit young offensively, always seems like he's trying to hit that home run. Seeing where the Astros are as an organization, where their minor league system is, and where Springer is, and the success he's had early on, but maybe still something missing, do you see him as a guy that gets forced up through the system because of that need in Houston? Or is he a guy who's maybe going to spend a majority of the year here, let it play out, let him take his bumps and bruises in addition to his success?
Well, I think he's going to wind up in AAA before the year's over with. When you talk about need for the Astros, George Springer is not the answer up there. But at the same token, why not let him go up there and take his swings? What's it going to hurt? I'm one of those guys that think that a long, protracted stay at AAA is not necessary. For those guys, maybe a month, maybe a little bit less, and you're ready for the big leagues. If not ready, you can make that adjustment there. You're right. Boo's right. I mean, he takes a hack every single time. I don't know if the Astros want to play with that or not, given the results, because when he hits the ball out of the ballpark, it goes a long way. It left your ballpark and went over the street, in right field. So, he's got tremendous power to all fields, a great first step in center field, tremendous speed, has all the 5 tools, and he's going to be a special ball player.
Yeah, he's fun to watch from an opposing side as well. The big story, as we're talking here with Michael Coffin, the voice of the Corpus Christi Hooks, the big story coming into this season has been the piggybacking, and not doing it at the lower levels, but doing it at every level, including up at AAA. Have you had any insight as to what the Astros think as to how it is going here at AA and AAA? Obviously, it's been a success, I would say, through the first month plus here in Corpus.
Yeah, and the numbers have certainly proven that out. The Hooks are, up there in the minors in terms of ERA, and as well as in the Texas League, obviously. Oklahoma City has kind of had to abandon that a little bit just due to the fact there are so many injuries at the big league level, and it's pretty much an OKC shuffle back and forth between Houston and TripleA. But the results have been very positive here, and case in point, when you look at the ERAs of these guys, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact they know they're either going to go 5 or 4 innings, and so they can let it all hang out. And it just plays out really well. Bobby Durant has been exceptional starting. Nick Tropiano has come in and done a tremendous job in relief. David Martinez, here's a guy who has a .87 ERA coming into tonight's matchup. And although he pitched well last year, I wouldn't have really projected that. I don't think anybody would have projected that. Jake Buchanan is having an unbelievable start. So certainly the results are there. It's just a matter of, from a development standpoint, in terms of, is this the best system to get these guys ready for the big leagues, which is the main goal here regardless. And so we'll see how long it plays out. We were told, the All-Star break, but things change. We'll see how it goes.
Well, tonight you guys will bring in Mike Foltynewicz. You replace Asher Wojciechowski with someone with as ornery of a last name in Foltynewicz. You had the chance to see his AA debut a few days ago. What can we expect to see here tonight?
Well, filth, to be honest with you. The guy, 97, 99, didn't drop below 97 with his fastball. Has a tremendous slider. He can throw it for a strike. He can bury it in the dirt. Great curveball. He threw a couple change-ups as well. Allowed just one walk and one hit in his 5 innings in his debut. Said it was the best start he's ever had. So I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and throw like that every time. But we went into spring training kind of asking around and asked who has the best arm in the system. Hands down, everybody was coming back with Mike Foltynewicz. And people are tossing out names like Verlander, when you talk about a guy like this. He's going to be special. He's going to have a nice career in the big leagues, at least by what we've seen so far.
Finally, I want to ask you a little bit about what your thoughts are on the league as a whole. You've seen the 2 North Division teams that the RoughRiders have not seen, and vice versa. But my overall impression is that it's a down year, especially offensively. There's certainly good pitching in the South Division. I think you guys in San Antonio are chief among them. But overall, I think maybe looking back in the glare of last year with every team having seemingly its top prospect at one point, this year it's a little bit more dull.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, I guess. If you think about, pitching, then, perhaps it's up there, But I agree with you. Not a lot of prospects, but we'll see how it plays out. I think that it's going to be Frisco and Corpus Christi going at it, beating the heck out of each other throughout the entire year in the South Division. San Antonio, they pitch well. They don't hit extremely well, and they can't field the ball. So it's going to be difficult for those guys. I've seen Tulsa and Springfield, and I think those guys are just going to whack at each other as well in the North Division. So I think it's going to be an even matchup going down to the final stretch, and it's going to be one of those deals where it's who gets hot late, which usually it always plays out that way. So it's tough to look at the standings every day and say so-and-so's in first place, so-and-so's in second, because it's going to be flip-flopping the entire way through, which is fun. I mean, that's what makes it fun to come to the ballpark every day and look at a guy like Alex Vispoli. So.
Well, I don't know about that last part, but certainly no one has jumped out and run away from anyone, and nobody is so far behind that they can't even think about making a comeback here as we go through the next quarter of the season.
The Naturals better start hitting, I guess, is bottom line. So those guys are pretty much the only one in danger of really falling into the ether. San Antonio's got to solve some fielding issues. But, if those guys can catch the ball with the way they've been pitching, it might be tough to face the Missions as well. So we'll see. Yeah,
Naturals hope to hold on to Yordano Ventura for as long as possible. Well, Michael Coffin, thanks so much for joining us. And, we look forward to seeing another classic between these two teams tonight.
Alex, it's great to see you, and I can't wait to get back to beautiful Dr. Pepper Ballpark.
Just a few weeks away from your next visit. That's Michael Coffin of the Corpus Christi Hooks. We're back after this on the Frisco RoughRiders Baseball Network.